Now for something a bit different. This is a sneak preview of the new Wellhouse Serena, which they're going to be converting towards the end of 2022. Now this particular one, it's based on the 4th generation of the model, so that was available from 2010 onwards. The other point to make about it is it's quite a compact vehicle. It's under 2 metres high, so it'll slip under car park height barrier restrictions, multi-storey car parks, things like that. It's also quite short. 4.78 metres long, so a little bit shorter than a VW Transporter to give you sort of an idea of scale. Engine-wise, you've got a choice of 2 engines with it, both 2-litre petrols. They're used in other vehicles in the UK, so not a problem getting hold of spares. Tried and tested unit. This particular one is probably the most interesting one because it's got a hybrid drivetrain. Wellhouse found that in testing this, they were getting about 34 miles to the gallon, which is quite economical for any camper van. The other point to mention, if you're thinking about using it as a daily driver, it's going to come with 5 belted seat belts. It's also got a spare wheel, a lot of camper vans don't. And if you want to use it for sort of hobbies at the weekend, it's worth noting you'll be able to fit a bike in the rear of it too. So that's quite a plus point. They're going to have a side kitchen conversion on it, and we'll do a full video of that as soon as they've got it built. This is just a quick first look and test drive. Well, the first thing that stands out sitting here is the spaciousness. I'm about 6'2". I've got masses of headroom above me, which is quite unusual in such a compact van. And looking forward, there's acres of windscreen. Feels very spacious, feels more like an A-class rather than a compact vehicle, which is something I wasn't really expecting. The dash is typical Japanese. You've got all the toys built in. Naturally, you've got air conditioning as well. As with all Japanese vehicles, good, powerful air conditioning with simple, intuitive controls. Or you can just set it to auto and just dial in a temperature. Very intuitive stuff. Lots of good cubby holes in this vehicle too, I've noticed. So, oh, somebody's charging cable. This cubby hole is perfect for your smartphone. You've also got this handy centre console, which has a compartment in it and simply lifts up and gives you an armrest. Or can be slid backwards out of the way. So quite a nice little feature that. I hope they keep it in the conversion. Another nice feature that many Japanese vehicles have is folding mirrors. Very cool, love that. The other big plus is that, as with many Japanese vehicles, it comes with an automatic gearbox as standard. It's a CVT type in this particular model, mated up to the petrol engine. It's a really good combination, and it's a big plus when you're stuck in traffic because you don't have to constantly keep your foot on the clutch. It makes driving far easier. Basically, you've got stop and go on the pedals. Automatics tend to be far more relaxing to drive, so that's a big plus. So let's drive it. Just one thing I have noticed as well is there's lots of adjustment on the seat, and I like the fact you've got an individual armrest as well. This particular one's got a sort of partial leather trim, which is quite nice, but obviously they'll come with all sorts of different trims depending on what the options are at the point of order. So I'll just pop the aircon off so it doesn't make any noise. Hope we don't mist up. So let's see how this 4th gen Nissan Serena goes. This one is fitted with the hybrid 2-litre petrol, so quite an economical unit. I think, as I mentioned earlier, Wellhouse reckon they're getting about 34 to the gallon on it, which is pretty impressive for a camper van. Not many petrol camper vans will do 34 mpg. Even the very latest brand new European ones will struggle to do that. So quite impressive. I think the Japanese were ahead of the game on that one. Now the feeling of space, that's probably the biggest first impression I have. There's so much room in front of me. I've got my arms outstretched and the windscreen's quite a way away. It's huge as well. Lots of visibility. Got good visibility through here. You can see through that big beefy A-pillar as well. So there's no blind spot with that. Takes a bit of getting used to, but absolutely fine. It's smooth to drive. The engine's very quiet. I can hear the tyres more than I can the engine. It's quite unusual. The CVT gearbox basically is different to a normal torque converter gearbox because it keeps the engine revs fairly constant and varies the gearing almost infinitely to suit optimum engine revs. So it's a different way of doing it. It's a little bit different if you're used to a conventional automatic, but it's pleasant. I quite like it. It's very quiet. We've just gone over a load of bumps there. Very little noise got transmitted through the cabin. So compared to the old generation of Serena, it certainly feels a step up in refinement. Steering, light, easy. I'm confident placing it on the road. It handles fine. Feels quite sure-footed. Very comfortable. I think comfortable is the thing that stands out. Right, what about manoeuvrability? So let's turn it round and see what the steering lock's like. Just find somewhere convenient to turn around. Right, I'll do the classic, no, put the wipers on, put the classic driving test manoeuvre. As with all Japanese vehicles, it will bleep when you do anything. This one's to tell you it's in reverse, and this particular model has a handy reversing camera, which is great, gives a really good view as you can see when you're backing up. I guess that's an option on this particular model. But yeah, nice and easy. That's the thing about vehicles of this size, they're very easy to live with. There's no adjustment period if you're used to driving a family car. You'll get straight in one of these and be off and away. Visibility's, as I mentioned, the visibility's good, but the mirrors are equally, they're large. You get a good view of the side of the vehicle, and because it's quite slab-sided, it's quite easy to position and judge it. So, not difficult at all to park or position. Yeah, you can just hear the revs now, so I've pressed a bit more throttle on, it's kicked down, or well, the CVT equivalent of kick down, because of course it doesn't have gears, it's an infinitely variable belt system. This particular one doesn't have particularly large diameter alloys, so the lower profile alloys you go the lower profile tyres you go for, the more the ride comfort is compromised. I'll put a caption up saying what size alloy wheels this particular one has got, but it's the standard Nissan alloys, and actually it gives really good ride comfort. I'd be very tempted to stick with these, although you can get some quite nice blingy options, so up to you, depends on what you prefer. I prefer comfort, I'm getting old, but yeah, it's a comfortable place to be. You don't feel like you're sat too high, which you do on particularly on some of the larger motorhomes, some of the Ducato conversions with the swivel seats. You feel like you're sitting up here and your eye line's level with the sun visor, which is less than ideal. This is the sort of vehicle that you could just drive across continents. It's just really comfortable. I've just gone over a load of bumps there. They're not being transmitted through. No, it's very good. big question you probably want to ask at this point is how much is it? Well, Wellhouse are hoping to do it for between 23 and 24,000 for complete conversion, and that's with 2 kilowatt heating, a mains hookup, 5 factory seat belts, even a spare wheel. So that's a bit of a bargain for a reliable Japanese camper van with a brand new conversion.